Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with more Shining Force 3. This time we are hitting the end. This is the premium disc, which for those of you who don't know what the premium disc is, it was a special disc you could get in Japan if you sent the proof of purchase or the barcode of those games to Sega. So if you had scenarios 1, 2, and 3, you could send in the proof of purchase, and for a limited time they would send you this special premium disc, which has some unique fights on it, a model viewer, production art, the sound test for all of the games, so you can listen to all of the soundtrack, promotional videos ranging from like the in-game cinematics to commercials like we just saw. So I'm going to take a couple of videos. We're going to showcase these. The battles. There are 9 battles on the premium disc, so that'll take a little while. So this first episode is really just going to be looking through the rest of the features of the premium disc, which is kind of neat. So if you want to see a hero with a particular set of equipment, so unpromoted Symbios with a rapier. This actually is kind of my favorite mod. Like this is Symbios to me, and this is just the ultimate in badassery to me. I don't know why. Just the rapier model seems to actually fit. It's a little more realistic looking of a sword rather than how the you look at the sword. That's pretty big. That's almost comical in a way in terms of size. But you can see all of the if you wanted to see median with a dagger, because I don't think we saw that. I don't think I actually did that. And then you can look at enemies as well. So Wyvern. So all of their animations, and there are ways to switch animations. I just don't know what it is. Let's have you with a... Alright, that's not what I want to do. That's special. There we go. And then their magic effect. And you can see them just sitting there holding the you hold the pose for as long as you hold the button. So it's neat. Or when they get hit, guarding, and then back to regular attack. And so you can go through and see. You don't get to see the special effects. So if there was a particular attack, like special attack you wanted to see, you unfortunately do not get to see it here. But like you get to see the base model animation. So that does kind of... I wish they had included a special viewer to see all of the special attacks. I think that would have been really, really awesome. So characters like Unoma that we never saw. So here's Unoma. Like really, that's what he does. This is why I didn't use him. I like his guard animation. He just kind of jumps and floats above it. But you get to see pretty much anything. So if there's something in the game you wanted to see or something you may not have seen, like maybe you kind of killed Gelm a little too quickly and you didn't get to see all of his attacks. I mean, not that you get to see all of the attacks, but you get to see his animation. So it is a different thing. So and the thing is, everything's kind of weird in terms of how they're laid out. Like there's a Bullzone Golem, you know, Justin with a quarrel, you know, Jubei, which we saw a lot of Jubei. Synthesis. We could go back to seeing Synthesis. You know. Stella. You know, it's been a long time since we've seen Stella. She doesn't get too many, you know, customization effects, but that's the model viewer. It's neat. I really, really wish they had included an ability to see all of the special attacks. That's my only gripe with it. But since it was technically free, so that's the thing. So there are all of the promotional art and like character design art and things that you get to see from everything. So like you can go through Hero Force and see. Oh crap! That's gonna be real difficult because it changes the resolution, and my FrameMeister's not gonna like that. But as you can see, you can go through and just cycle through all sorts of art. So like Symbios is the Apostle of Light, his art, and then promotional art for like the design concept of what they wanted the spells to do. So that was the early concept design for fire, or the flare spell. So you get to literally just watch fire build up, and then it kind of took that form, but not really. So, and then one of the summons. Lightning comes out of the portal, forms into something, and then is standing there in front of them. Concept art for the floating village. Concept art for the Dark Kraken, I believe. So there's a lot to it, and I'm going to back out, which is going to take it a second, because again, the FrameMeister really does not do well with changing resolutions like that. It doesn't like the switching from one resolution to another. It takes it a second to post-process that. So, but this is one of the things that I really wanted to show, was some of the really early concept art. So these are characters that never really did anything. But like Fishman, that'd be, have a Fishman on your side. That'd be cool. And then the concept art for the penguins, that you could see where they kind of started off and where they didn't go. Seeing the penguins turn into little dragons. Very different. And then I think that's early model Mascarin? No, that's got the Imperial symbol on it, so that would be early model Synthesis. So that's really it. It's all the bridge battle, Dark Kraken again. So you could go through and see all sorts of art for basically anything. Even the cover art for the games, which I want to show this one off. I know it'll take a second, but I actually have a poster of this on my wall, because why the hell not? I mean, this Shining Force 3 Scenario 1 is kind of my Shining Force 3. Like that's the game to me. So like I did get a poster printout of this, and it's actually hanging over my my desk at the moment. So it's like I just look up from my monitors and that's what I see. So yeah, all sorts of fantastic artwork there. And then next, let's go to the sounds. The hills are alive with the sounds of Shining Force. So you get to listen to any of the soundtrack, any of the special effects, jingles, which are just the little, like, you found something. There's not too many of these. But then you also have voice lines.
Yeah.
However, the layout for this is actually kind of stupid. Because I want to be able to play it and skip ahead. But this is actually a really good place to go if you want to listen to the soundtrack. Because the soundtrack is available online, in like the deepest corners of the internet, and I found most of it. But there are still sections of it that some tracks were corrupt, so I have to use this to go back and use this to supplement. So, Hero of the Republic, one of my favorite tracks. I love this track. So, you could go through and listen to basically any song in the game. Main theme. So, yeah. Not too much really to show that. That's more for sitting back and listening. And then we have the videos. The vidges. And so, like, you get to see the trailer, which I don't believe was aired. I don't think anyone in the US saw this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was never really, shown. But then we have all of the scenario intros. We have TV ads, which again we saw one of them, and then we have an interview. The interview is really long. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's subtitled, so it's but I believe there is a subtitled version of this on YouTube. If there is, I will try to find a link to it. But like, you want to see. And of course, Segata Shinshiro just kind of shows up and just beats everyone to play my game. Which, I have to say, was probably one of the most interesting marketing campaigns. This is cool! One thing that I love, Japanese ads are so very different from American ads. It's... This is cool! I love that this is cool. It's silly. It's so silly. But yeah, Japanese ads are so very different from North American ads. It's unreal. I used to love seeing the Japanese ads. A friend of mine would get the import VHS anime when we were growing up, like Dragon Ball Z at the height of its popularity and things like that. And it basically came uncut from Japan, so it had all of the commercials and everything. It was just basically someone recorded it off of TV and made dozens of copies, and it was all totally bootlegged. So very bootlegged. But it was one of those things that just... I enjoyed watching the commercials almost as much as watching the shows. Alright, so one of the things that we need to do is we can look through all of the... Do you need to create a save file for the premium? Yes, we do. Let me introduce you to the three main characters in the story. I've already done this. So I guess I just have to go in to the battle. And Alright, so just getting out of there, because one of the things that we want to do for the premium disc is be able to use all of the characters that we've had available to us. And that's the last thing I'm going to do in this episode, is actually build my team. And instead of Master Gabriel for the premium disc, we have Unoma. This is a special temple created by the gods. I know my way around here pretty well. Would you like me to show you the way? Are you aware of the danger? Yes! Select an option to continue. So we can begin, and we get to pick one of the save files that we have. It will access all of the Shining Force 3 save files. So this is actually the one we want to use, Light Apostle, Scenario 3. And this will allow us to pick the members of our force from everyone that we had acquired throughout our entire playthrough. And one thing that I've noticed is the portraits for the characters are different here. The premium disc portraits are different. So like Danteri's actually has a decent portrait now instead of the kind of crappy one that he had before when we promoted him. And Synthesis and Grace is still about the same, but not as bad. Like it's gotten a little bit better, but they have all of the equipment and items they had on them. They have all of the levels, everything they had when we finished. And then because we saved Jane, even though she didn't technically join the Force, she is playable because we saved her. But unfortunately, she's kind of eh. The only strong thing to her is she comes with one of the circlets that regens MP. And she also has some different spells. She's got Aura, Inferno, and what looks like Thor. So, yeah, interesting setup. So I'm going to build my team based off of who I was planning on using for during the Scenario 3 Heroes test. So we're going to have Julian, Median, and Symbios, and that means we have 3 heroes. The downside to having multiple heroes like this is they all count as a hero. So if Julian, Median, or Symbios dies, I lose the fight as if I were losing my main hero. So be very careful about that. That is something that can come back to bite you. And then next we are going to do healers, which is going to be Grace and Isabella are going to be my two healers. I'm balancing out this force to be a little more versatile rather than very melee heavy like it was my last premium disc playthrough. So we've got Grace, Isabella, and now I need my ranged units, which are going to be the wonderful Hayward and the exquisite Kate. So I've got 3 melee units, 2 healers, 2 ranged units. My melee units are heroes, so they also have spells, so they do have some sort of magic support. After that, we've got our supports, which are going to be Irene and Khan. So there are a couple other characters that you could use that would be a little more beneficial for supports. Like Hera has support and resist, but she doesn't have a large MP pool, so you'd have to spend some time to work up the MP pool. So you would either mostly be using her for support or resist. This way I've got 2 characters that can do support for one, resist for another, character who has slow, but then both of these have heal. So that's how I'm aiming for my supports to go. And then my casters, I'm going to have 2 casters, which are going to be... Where are you? We're going to bring Bridget, and we are going to bring Hedva. So that means I've got 2 primary casters, both of which have the ability to regen MP. She's got a circlet, she's got a wand, she's got a circlet, and she's got a circlet. So all of my casters, both my offensive and defensive casters, have the ability to regen MP, which is very useful. So next, there's a lot of options that you could do for this. if you're following us, you could go for another caster, you could go for another ranged unit. The only problem is the ranged unit I would want to use is Garrosh, and he suffers from an HP glitch. So he is actually very useless to me at the moment, because he has so little HP compared to the rest of the force. I could go with another support, but then I'm lacking a little bit of damage. So the things I was looking at were either going for someone with offensive capabilities, by means of having someone with the ability to use attack. So I was leaning toward Hazuki because she's got attack, level 2, which is really useful for a group of people. But I'm gonna go with Proton because slow costs less MP and it has almost the same effect. Because looking at it, it doesn't have the same general, like, it lowers your enemy's defense and agility, whereas attack just raises our attack. But lowering their defense does increase the damage output we can do. So that will be my team. So, like I said, there are so many different ways to do this. Given, the number of people we were able to recruit through scenarios 1, 2, and 3, you could build a very interesting force that is formidable in so many different ways. So that's the force that I will use, and I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here, and I will see you all in the next installment where we will start the first fight. So till then, later everyone.